the last lecture, we started analyzing the product width and the order cycle time. Now, we will see the other indicators related to sales, namely delivery punctuality, completeness, and flexibility, as well as how to correctly measure them. Let's start from the delivery punctuality. It is the capacity of the supplier to deliver in the time window agreed with the customer. It is valuable for the customer because it reduces the supplier uncertainty and it increases the capability to plan receiving activities. The width of the time window depends on the industry considered and on the customer typology. Let's see some examples. About a week for the delivery to shops in the apparel industry. 1 day for the delivery to a distributor in the electrical equipment sector. And only few hours for the delivery to pharmacies in the pharma industry. Assuming as reference the set of orders whose delivery has been agreed in a considered time window, we may identify orders delivered in advance, delayed orders, orders not delivered, and orders delivered on time. The percentage of orders delivered on time is calculated as the ratio between the number of orders delivered on time and the total number of orders delivered. By changing the numerator of this ratio, we may find the percentages of orders delivered in advance, in delay, or not delivered. The average delay of orders is computed as the ratio between the sum of the delays, measured in days, and the number of orders delivered in delay. Similarly, the average advance in the orders is calculated as the ratio between the sum of the advances measured again in days and the number of orders delivered in advance. Let's consider now delivery completeness. A delivery is complete when all the lines in the right quantity are delivered within the same shipping. It is related to the probability to avoid a stock out based on the orders and the delay the customer is willing to accept in case of unavailability of items. It is valuable for the customer since it avoids fraction deliveries. The delivery completeness can be measured, for example, as the effective completeness, which represents the percentage of actual complete orders. It is computed as the ratio between the number of complete orders delivered and the total number of orders to be delivered. Finally, let's consider the delivery flexibility. It is the capability of the supplier to meet urgent and unexpected needs of the customer, for example, in terms of variation in the quantity of single items compared to the required values, variation in the mix of items compared to the agreed one, change in the delivery date and thus in the agreed time window, change in the delivery place. For example, if we want to find the flexibility based on quantity, we can compute the ratio between the number of satisfied requests of variation in quantities and the total number of requests regarding variations in the quantities. Delivery flexibility is valuable for the customer since it reduces the frozen period of the planning activities and it reduces the costs associated to the forecast errors. Up to now, we have seen the different customer service indicators. But why the customer service performances are measured? Because in order to improve the customer service, we need to understand the reasons why the real performances differ from the expected ones. And how to implement a correct measurement. First, identify the influencing factors, that means those drivers affecting performances. Second, defining the indicators to measure them. In addition, requirements for a correct measurement are completeness in the board of indicators and focus on causes and responsibilities of possible misalignment. Let's consider, for example, the order cycle time. The drivers affecting it are, first, the delivery cycle time. If items are available, the delivery cycle time is the time required for processing, preparing, and delivering the order. Second, the replenishment cycle time. When items are not available, it is the time needed for supplying the missed goods. Therefore, it is a period between the time in which the unavailability is recognized and the delivery of the items supplied or produced to the warehouse. Third, the expected probability to avoid a stock out. Remember that stock out occurs when required items are not available for being delivered. In other words, when the customers issue an order, two main scenarios may occur. If items are available in the warehouse, they will be delivered just after the delivery cycle time. In case of items unavailability, the warehouse needs to supply missed goods, so it will issue an order to a second warehouse or to a plant. After the replenishment cycle time, the warehouse will receive the goods. Therefore, the customer has to wait for a period which is the sum of the replenishment and the delivery cycle time. In order to find the average value of the order cycle time, we need to consider both cases and their occurrences, which depend on the probability to avoid a stockout. Therefore, we have to sum up the delivery cycle time multiplied by the probability to avoid a stockout. This part of the formula represents the case in which items are available, and the sum of the replenishment and the delivery cycles time multiplied by the probability to have a stockout, that is 1 minus the probability to avoid a stockout. The second part represents, on the contrary, the case of items unavailability. Simplifying the formula, the average value of the cycle time results to be the sum of the delivery cycle time and the replenishment cycle time multiplied by the probability to have a stockout. The obtained formula can be also explained considering that, for sure, the customer will wait at least a period equal to the delivery cycle time. In addition, there is the possibility, which is equal to the probability to have a stockout, to wait also for the replenishment cycle time. It is useful to get the average cycle time, but pay attention that this value alone is not enough. Indeed, even if the two cases in the picture have the same average cycle time, they are completely different. Case A has high values of delivery time and probability to avoid a stockout. On the contrary, case B displays lower values. In this lecture, we have seen what the delivery punctuality, complexity, and flexibility are, and how these indicators are measured. How to effectively measure the performances indicators, also showing the example of the order cycle time.